I think I've been on a diet since I was about 3 days old. And I've become somewhat of an expert on what works and what doesn't work at maintaining or losing weight or putting it on. Frankly, I find it very difficult to lose weight, especially during times when I'm under pressure. Oh, yeah. I mean, you may understand this, unless you're terminally thin. But maybe you're the one who does understand that losing weight and gaining it is tough. And, my thorn in my flesh, I think, is my metabolism. Well, when things are calm and normal, status quo, it's a lot easier to maintain your diet disciplines. And then the crunch comes, right? Extra stress. Out comes the cookies, chips, candy, and an attack of the munchies to help you get through the pressure. Pressure gives you this strangely expanded desire to eat. Now, usually that's a bad response. Usually, in some cases, it's actually a good idea. I'm Ron Hutchcraft, and I want to have a word with you today about hope when the pressure's on. Now, a word for today from the Word of God comes from 2 Corinthians chapter 1. I'm going to begin reading in verse 8, where we hear about Paul under pressure. I mean, a lot of pressure. Listen to his words. He said, "We were under great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure, so we even despaired of life." Boy, if you've been under pressure, maybe you know that feeling of beyond my ability to take any more. And then he goes on to say, "This happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God." Well, in a sense, Paul's response to pressure in his life was to eat. Oh, not physically, but spiritually. To download spiritual resources that he needed to make it through. He ate spiritual protein, not spiritual snacks. See, when you're pushed beyond your ability to take it, to handle it, it's more than you can do, more than you can solve, more than you can provide for. Okay, you understand? Well, then it's time to load up on two resources. In 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 and 4, he talks about, quote, "the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our troubles. With the comfort we have received from God, we are able to comfort those who are in any trouble." Notice, he's the God of all comfort in all situations. It's like a comprehensive insurance policy. You will always have comfort as big as your pain, as big as your hurt. You'll never fully learn the comfort of God, though, until you're really uncomfortable. And that's interesting. So if you're uncomfortable right now at this time in your life, load up on a heaping helping of the comfort of God, even enough to serve others some. The other resource you eat very aggressively at this time is God's power. That's why he says, this all happened to us so we could taste God's power and not rely on ourselves. The God, he says, who raises the dead. Wow. Now, you'll never fully learn the power of God until you're at a point where you are just fully powerless. And then comes that sweet surrender to God's working. You've run out of options. You've run out of you. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of him, almost none of you. So you get a big helping of the power of God, working where you're powerless to do anything. And what kind of God? A God who raises the dead. This is a death-reversing, resurrecting, life-giving God in the moments when there's so little you have to give. Maybe you're in one of them right now. So is that pressure on you right now? Well, then spend quality time in your Lord's presence. Even though it may be harder than ever to do it, you've never needed it more. Feed on his resources. Download them. Partake of it. That's why he's brought you to this point. Get the resources that you would never experience if the pressure didn't drive you to it. When the pressure's on, eat heartily from God's shelves. You know what you will get? You will get stronger than you've ever been.